I just want to be held, nurtured, loved, cared for, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
Loneliness is something that's going to be afflicting a lot of people in 20.
In their 30s, as soon as I started listening, because women in their 30s are desperate.
Normalizing being single.
The cat is out of the bag. Modern women are actually lonely.
I'm 33, turning 34 next month, and I'm just fucking done dating.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone.
Men and women experience loneliness very differently.
We need to normalize being young and being...
How about we normalize shame? Sleeping around makes you lonely, not powerful. Kindly subscribe to the channel, as it is our sole form of support. Thank you.
I think I'm quite lonely, and I feel really bad for saying that because I have friends. It's not that I don't have friends, but everybody grows up and has different interests, and I kind of don't know where I fit in anymore. It's 6:15. I am halfway ready for bed. I'm not really hungry. I don't think... How do you make friends in your 30s? And I do have friends. It's not that I don't have anyone to turn to, but where do I get hobbies? Where do I meet new people? How do you, if you're not married and you don't have kids, and I don't know, maybe I don't go out and drink a lot anymore, and I just don't know what... I sound really moody, and I also don't... I like to be quite upbeat, even though I am horribly depressed, but I don't know. I just feel really lost. Just thought I'd share it in case you feel the same.
The problem she's having is that she has no one in her personal life. There's only a certain gap your friends can fill up. Sometimes you start yearning that emotional closeness with a partner. You start wanting to fall in love. A lot of women are going through it after being single for a long time. This is just a phase they're going through.
Men and women experience loneliness very differently. Men have a tendency to feel lonely because they don't have the options for partnership. Women feel as if the options are not the right ones for them. Which way do you feel? Do you agree with this as a man or a woman? How do you experience loneliness?
Some of us just accept defeat. We're broken and scarred with negative memories, so therefore too frightened to even try again. I feel loneliness by thinking the options are not the right ones, and I am a man. If a man were to feel lonely today, it would be because in this generation, the expectations he has to meet is just ridiculous. Therefore, because he can't meet them, he chooses to stay by himself. Most of them have had very peaceful lives without a woman. Back then, a man could have gotten a woman without having to do all of these crazy things today. But times has changed. Women feel lonely because they are looking for perfection, a man with no flaws that ticks all their boxes. Little do they know, that man only exists in their imagination. No one is perfect. So because of that, they will continue to suffer. Their delusion is the only cause for their loneliness.
Why do men not understand hints? Why do I have to spell every fucking thing out? Why can't you just one simple little hinting at this? Fucking understand what I'm trying to say. I don't want to have to spell everything out like I'm your mother.
I think it might be time to normalize being single and alone. I'm really sick of people making it sound like, you know, in order to be happy, like in your future and everything else, you have to find your person, because people will be like, oh, don't worry, you'll find someone eventually, or something along those lines. And it's like, okay, but it's okay if I don't also. And by you saying that kind of makes me feel worse about not finding someone. And like, I shouldn't. Like, it's absolutely okay. Some people don't find their person in life. A lot of people don't. And I feel especially nowadays with the way things have changed. So maybe let's just, you know, get rid of the stigma that you have to be with someone and just embrace being single, because it's okay.
I've realized this is something that women in their 30s are telling themselves so they can feel comfortable with the lifestyle choices they've made. They also have this saying where 40s is the new 20s, which is absolutely not true because there are women in their 40s that's struggling with dating. If being single at 30 is something these women choose to do, I hope they realize going on forward it doesn't get any easier.
There is a study by Morgan Stanley Financial. They did you can go find it too. It's online. It's called The Rise of the She Economy. In that sort of research, they postulate that by 2030, women between the ages of 25 and 44, something like 52%. I hope I'm getting my numbers right. Something like 45 to 52%.
It's over half.
Yeah, over
It's
half.
going to be over half
Of women of marriageable age will be single for the rest of their lives. They will not reproduce unless they get unless they get artificial insemination, but they will be unmarried and childless during those ages by 2030, which is like a very, very steep incline. In fact, they are so certain of this that they did this research on Morgan Stanley so their investors would know what to invest in the coming decade.
Well, fellas, now that you know what to invest in the coming years, what exactly is stopping you? This trend of women being single and lonely is only going to get worse and worse. I guess the saying was right after all. The enemy of humanity is humanity itself.
Loneliness is something that's going to be afflicting a lot of people in 2024. So now more than ever before, it is important for you to affirm yourself and really double down on those relationships. Contrary to popular belief around 2024 is starting afresh. It's time to cut off friendships. No, sis, it's time for you to hold on and hang on tight to the dear friendships that you have, the sisters that you have in your life. Now is the time for you to make sure that you are good, right, and tight with those sisters, because it's those sisters that will carry you from the beginning of 2024 to the end of your lifetime. So please.
Most of the time I love being single. I am very comfortable being single, but tonight I hung out with friends and I had a great time, and then I was driving home and I started feeling this wave of depression and anxiety, and I wasn't really sure what it was related to or where it was stemming from. And then I got home and I felt just so sad and lonely, and I walked into my empty apartment and I thought, God, I wish that I had someone who could just hold me right now. I wish that I had someone who could just take care of me, because I have to take care of myself every single day and it's fucking exhausting. And I just want someone to take care of me every now and then.
Well, that's what adults are required to do, to take care of themselves. So many girls get to that point in their lives where their friends are in good relationships while they're not. They get tired of being an adult and want someone to take care of them. Loneliness is a thing that's in everybody, but when you live your life and not allowing anybody into your life when you're younger, you start feeling it when you're older. Men and women experience loneliness very, very differently. In her case, it sounds like she's looking for someone to come handle her baggages because it's too much to handle on her own.
I have reached my breaking point of having to do this life thing alone. I just want to be held, nurtured, loved, cared for, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, in all aspects. I want my heart and soul to be seen and held. I just can't do it alone anymore, and I'm at my breaking point. I can do it physically alone. I've been doing it. But I don't want to. I don't deserve to, because I am worthy of companionship, of community, of love, of affection, of support, of someone lifting me up, motivating me, encouraging me. I am worthy of that. So I deserve to receive that. I don't want to do it alone anymore. And I've been crying all day because of it.
I understand being alone and lonely can be a painful thing to endure. But these women come on the camera and cry about how hard it is, but keep forgetting to look in their friend zone. I'm sure they can find a guy there who's been trying to get with them. Or better yet, they can look at their inbox messages. The thing is, These women aren't doing that because they're all looking for a certain type of man. There's so many good men out here. Another issue is this right here. This woman said, "Your definition of a good man isn't ours." The kind of good man they're looking for is the guy who accepts their bullshit no matter what. The guy who's gonna finance their lifestyle while they kick their feet up. So many good guys have been burned in marriages. If a good man isn't good enough for you, then no man is good for you. You'll just keep running around in circles being passed around. Another thing I notice is that the good man is always enough for a good woman. It's always the modern birds the good man isn't enough for.
Something I had to learn is that it's okay to admit that you're lonely. I think as a strong, independent Black woman, as a strong, independent woman, I think it is like this notion of you take care of yourself. And like, I think people look at me and they're like, you're so strong, you go on these trips, you do all these things. And yeah, I do that, but I still like crave partnership, right? And companionship. And I think in my last video, when I shared that I went out to eat by myself because I was lonely, it's okay to admit that, like, yeah, some days I do want to lay on the couch and cuddle, right? Like, I do a lot for myself. And in this economy, taking care of your house, paying your bills, doing all the things by yourself is draining. So shout out to you if you also do that. But it is okay to do all those things and still want and crave, like, the intimacy that comes with spending time with someone, right? Going on dates, all the things. I think the moral of what I'm saying is that it's okay to be lonely. It's okay to want to go on dates, right? It's okay to crave intimacy. Like, these are normal feelings. So don't ever feel bad about it. And I think if we shared it more, it would just help. So this is me sharing it more. Have a good day.
She is correct. It is okay to want these things. It is also okay to not date a woman who's claiming to be a strong, independent woman. For most girls, this is what's keeping them single. They think proclaiming to men that being independent is somehow attractive, when it's really a turn-off.
My question is, why are these beautiful women single, bro? Why the fuck am I single, bro? Why the fuck am I single? Guys, I've been single. I'm gonna be single. Oh my, I'm gonna be single for 4 fucking years now.
You are single because you say, bro, way too much. Another thing is, these women choose to be single. They're just looking for a specific type of guy to date. And because other women are also competing for that same type of man, it makes it even harder. So overall, she's single because the guy that she wants does not want her.
I want to see what all the 40-year-old faces look like.
Hi, I'm 40. 40 is like the new 20, okay? Everything is better in your 40s. Everything. And I mean everything. So bring it on, 40. I just turned 40. Have a good day.
Smiling while telling lies. 40 is not the new 20. And nothing is easier.
Men can't believe that women are single by choice because men aren't single by choice.
What an interesting statement. I cannot wait to hear what one is basing that off of.
They may be finding women to go on dates with, but nothing's sticking.
Okay, well that happens for women as well. So what exactly is this leading up to?
And so they're lashing out at women saying things like, have fun being single or enjoy your cats.
Not all men say things like that.
Sir, that's the whole point, is that I am having fun being single and I love my cats.
So that means that one is single by choice, right? So why can a woman be single by choice, but not a man?
I also love my peace of mind, not having to be accountable to somebody who isn't really that interested. He's not interested in me and my life and things that I want and need.
And there it is. That is actually the reason why a lot of men are now choosing to remain single, for that very reason.
As men age alone, it is not good.
Oh, really?
And the men are not okay. But I'm finding that as I age, I am getting happier and happier with myself and my girlfriends and my family. And the idea of having to accommodate a man's insecurities or even securities is just less and less appealing.
And with that, one actually nailed the reason why a lot of men are also choosing to remain single. Because oftentimes, it's simply more peaceful. It's as simple as that.
23 and I've never had a boyfriend, and this is why I think I've always been single.
boys or bad boys?
Bad boys. Bad boys.
Bad bo-
What made you not want him? I thought he was too nice.
Most girls won't admit this, but for your sake, I will. I hate nice guys.
This is a reminder that finding someone who's willing to grow is more important than finding a perfect partner. The fact is, no one will ever be perfect for you. No matter how much you love someone, there will be days when they annoy you. There will be days when you're out of sync. You'll have that thing that you do differently that tends to be a point of contention. Most likely, you'll have different communication styles, and that alone will cause some frustration from time to time. The difference between couples who ultimately crumble and those who thrive is not a lack of friction. It's a willingness to grow with each other. Life is a long journey, and having someone by your side who's willing to grow and learn and be a better partner for you is going to feel a lot better than this idea of a perfect partner. So try widening your parameters for what a great partner will look like for you on the outside and focus in on what they'll look like on the inside.
I agree, but women today aren't looking for someone to grow with. They're looking for someone to fund their lifestyle. If you aren't making a certain amount of money, it's a no-go. Relationships today are risky, little to gain and a lot to lose. It's not about finding love and build a connection anymore.
For all the people out there who are single in their 30s, I just want to remind you, you have time. So much can happen in 6 months, a year, 2 years. For me, this time 3 years ago, I was single as fuck. Not even like single and looking for someone and dating around. No. I was committed to being single. This day, 3 years ago. And today I am in the most loving partnership of my dreams with a man who I'm building an incredible life with. 3 years. So much happened between then and now in a relatively short amount of time. Your timeline is your timeline, but I want to remind you of how long time can actually be. So don't worry. You have plenty of it. And you're on no one's timeline but your own.
I want to be loved. I want marriage. You know, a lot of us get on here, we act tough, and we be like, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, but I want help. I want to be loved. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody I can be vulnerable with. The problem is, and I'm not crying out because I'm sad, I'm crying out because it's like a release right now. But the problem for me, y'all, is that all the relationships that I had with men were not about love. It was about survival for me. I know how to fuck. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to seduce a man. I do not know how to love a man. And then to have a son, because of those choices that I was making, y'all, and I got pregnant really, really fast. I got pregnant within 90 days of knowing my baby daddy. And we don't talk about this shit because it's embarrassing and it hurts. It fucking hurts. And I'm mad with me. I'm not mad at men. I'm not mad at my life. I'm mad at me because I don't know how to fix me. I don't know how to fix it. That's accountability. That's the shit that hurts. It's realizing that, hey, I got some shit with me that I don't know how to fucking fix. And in turn, because I don't know how to fix that shit, I'm fucking up other people around me.
This is so brave of her, and I feel this is the first step to healing. Hope more women open up. I think most marriages throughout history have been more about survival than love, to be honest. I think she's on the right track to heal herself. And as a man, all I can wish her is good luck in her quest. It's not impossible. Now this is something I respect. She is taking full accountability for her actions and being honest about it. I used to just let myself be used by men, and I would go out looking for it, just to have some companionship, even for 30 mins. And I had to take a good look at myself and realize that I was putting myself up for being used, and I owed my body a lot more. So I fully stopped, and it's made me better. Deep down inside. This is how most modern women feel. They act tough and say they don't need a man, but really they do. They're unable to come out and say it because they lack taking accountability. These women would rather suffer in silence rather than opening up and being truthful. not realizing that's making them more and more miserable until they break down.
No one prepares you for the loneliness that you feel in your 20s. I'm currently sitting alone in my apartment. It is 1 a.m. I'm drinking water out of a wine glass because it's the only thing I have clean. And all of my friends are either with their boyfriends, with their husbands, with someone. And I feel like the odd one out because I don't have anyone. I have myself and my dog. And don't get me wrong, I love being alone, but I just feel like people at this age are really selfish and you lose a lot of friends in the chaos of being in different phases of life, and it sucks. And honestly, I just feel forgotten about and pushed to the side. Welcome to your 20s.
Please don't catcall me unless you're attractive. Unless you're a 7, 8, 9, or 10. If you're 10, you're probably not catcalling. But don't do it. I don't want none of that. I don't want none of that unless you're sexy.
I thought catcalling was creepy and weird. This is the same standard women have for themselves when it comes to the gym. If an attractive guy hits on her at the gym, it makes it okay. But if it's not, it's creepy. The bottom line is, women are fine being catcalled as long as you're attractive. They're just angry at it when someone unattractive is doing it to them. In their imagination, they think they're so pretty that only certain men should be allowed to hit on them. What a joke.
We need to normalize being young and being single.
Hi, sorry to insert my opinion, but who's we? Correct me if I'm wrong, but there has never in the history of ever been a time where it's been more normalized to be single than now. In fact, 74% of millennials and Zoomers use dating apps, and I'd beg to say that over half of that population just goes on dating apps to fuck. However, I don't think people choose to be single for necessarily the right reasons. It's okay, we can be honest here. A lot of us don't choose to be single because of self-growth and development. We do so because we have major commitment issues. I'm just gonna say it. I feel like we have way too many choices, and we also have way too many ideals for what a relationship should be, you know? If they loved you, they would do this. If they did this, they would do that. Like, oh my god, you don't need that, girl. It's this, oh, it just gets me so mad. I feel like it's this idea that you have to have someone obsessed with you all the fucking time. What? No, I don't. Okay, well, explain this. They need to post you on your story. It's literally National Girlfriend's Day. Like the internet makes up these rules as to like, if your man posts you on this, then that means you guys are like this. When I swear the most unhappiest couples will be posting each other all the damn time. Hold on, you're not in a relationship? Yeah, you're not off the hook, okay? Let's talk about situationships and how this sneaky link culture is just weird. You're still acting like you're in a relationship. And these like TikTok pages being like, here's how to get your lick back. Here's how to be toxic. It's like, what? No wonder why y'all don't know how to be in relationships, because you're still acting on this basis of like trying to be manipulative to get them to like you. It's like you're like this with all your men, and you're being like, okay, let me tug this one this way and tug this one that way, and then like let me reply to this text at 9:03 because he texted me an hour earlier. Like, fuck, dude.
That was beautifully said. Social media has given these women way too many choices. At the first sign of any issues in the relationship, they threaten to leave, which is showing a lack of commitment. They start hopping from guys to guys until they're ready to settle, but that never actually works out. They all end back on social media screaming, "Men don't want me."
Book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled. That's a catch. And so
80% of the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers.
What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind, and she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like, he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting. But then he did this Austin Powers impression and I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again. Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life.
Even if I met all 5,000 things on that list, for their happiness and expectations, I'd rather be alone and living for myself than someone else. If you find the perfect man that ticket all the boxes, how would that make you feel in comparison? The last thing I want in a woman is perfection. Women these days are not looking for Mr. Right. They're looking for a Mr. Right now, then bitch about the fact there's never any good man around. In conclusion, you cannot make anyone happy. Everyone is responsible for their own happiness. It doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It will never be enough for the women today. That's why it's better to look after yourself and focus on what you got going on. People say modern women will die alone, but we all die alone. We want to live life and only with someone who is the perfect one, rather alone than unhappy.
I don't know if anybody can relate to this, but that feeling when you feel like you're alone, and it can't get any lonelier than this, bro.
We need to normalize being single in your 30s and restarting later on in life. And I know a lot of people listen. That's always something that it's more females, but they'll be like, I got divorced or I broke up. Now I don't know what to do because they were my whole life. And so I think it's just good to hear that.
One thing that I thought about was like if people really do live longer, right? So let's say we all live to be 100.
Yeah. Scary.
I wish
No, thank you.
I think well, women live longer than men.
Yes.
And I think the average life expectancy for women right now is like close to 80.
Wow.
Yeah.
I could do it.
Maybe even
I'm fine
above.
with 80. I don't want to get 90. We're good. Like, we're good.
I have 87
You'll
in
be
my
killing.
brain.
You guys will be killing it at night. You'll still have this fucking podcast.
Oh, we will.
Yeah, you're talking about the nursing home, like the dudes that are hitting on you.
No, I just need you to stop being nice to me unless you're going to marry me after.
Here's what your Friday night looks like when you're single, 29, and you don't have kids yet. I decided to take myself out on a date last night and treated myself to some Caesar salad and bolognese, and it was so, so good. And then a friend of mine texted me to come over, and I did, and so we did some tarot, which was super fun. And guess who didn't rise out of bed until 10:45?
Why would we pay for drinks at the Clock Hotel?
Why? Who's paying?
The old men.
You guys into sugar daddies?
Yes. We're looking for a double sugar daddy date.
What have you got to offer the sugar daddy?
We have nothing. One's where they don't want me. And
Red gang.
my friends are strippers.
Girls, can you tell us something your mum doesn't know?
We are both cocaine addicts. We love coke.
It's all fun and games until they reach 30. Then they start to feel the weight of their poor decisions when they were younger.
You know what's interesting that people don't normally talk about is that the pretty girls are often the absolutely loneliest, most torn apart, bullied girls. When I was in high school, I was categorized as like the pretty girl. I was in the rural Midwest and I wore makeup, so like it doesn't say much about me. It's just like what people talked about me as. Like people would just put me under that label.
No single woman over 35 is happy being single. That's a lie. In a public face. In private, she's crying at night. Unhappy. Wishing she had someone to talk to and comfort and be the man in her life. Let's keep it real. Red flag.
Can we start normalizing being single? And that it's okay to not be in a relationship or want to be in a relationship at this time? Please.
If you're over 30, still single, and wish you weren't, I've got some good and bad news for you. The bad news is it's your fault. The good news is, because it's your fault, you can do something about it. First, get your butt outside. You are not going to meet a 10 sitting on your couch. Second, learn to flirt. Starting can be as simple as paying a playful compliment like, "You have a phenomenal smile," to the barista who makes your coffee in the mornings. And third, close this app. Let's be honest, it is mostly a distraction.
I think there are so many women
in this sort of situation who end up single in their 30s who are amazing, and they don't seem to be meeting the right, well, you know, a guy that matches up to their level. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that when you are in your 30s and you have your own success and you've built your own life and you're independent, you don't need someone. So they have to be really, really special for you to want to actually invest your time in them.
No, the problem they face is the fact that they turn into the man that they want. They're so picky at choosing a man, it's insane. They claim all of this success is making them feel happy, but it is only temporary. What kind of woman is actually happy in a big, empty home by herself? There's so many successful women struggling to find a man right now. They keep saying men are intimidated, but the truth is they don't want those men because of the amount of money they make. Very shallow reason.
The fact that I married Storytime has had me in a chokehold, but I knew she was in her 30s as soon as I started listening, because women in their 30s are desperate.